I was looking at Google and I was like, who are the top real estate agents on YouTube? And there were lists. There were actually lists. And I was like, well, are there any people that I know? There weren't any people that I know. And then I was like, well, what kind of subscribers can we be looking at? There's some people that got some really high subscriber counts. I'm very happy for them. I don't have very high subscriber counts, but the subscribers I have, I love. Thank you. Seriously. Um, I know a little bit why I don't have a huge subscriber following. One, I'm not a big fan of like being a corporate shill. I'm kind of against the grain. I'm a contrarian by nature. Maybe an outsider. I think definitely an outsider. For instance, a lot of the realtors now are down in Florida, or they were in Florida this weekend for the National Association of Realtors. I didn't go. I don't feel bad about it, but I don't think I'd be that much fun to hang out with even if I was there. It's not my like. Believe it or not, today I'm live streaming here at 5:00 because I'm looking forward to having dinner and then watching some television tonight. And it's not going to be television, it's going to be YouTube. It's not like I'm looking forward to going out and going to a restaurant, or I'm going to a party, or I'm going to no, I just want to rest. I'm tired. I'm tired. So anyway, that's one of the reasons why I don't think I'm there. I haven't done a very good job of self-promotion. That's a failure on my part. And when you define my audience, they're just from all over the spectrum. So it's like, if you're a real estate agent, are you watching me? Well, maybe. If you're what? I don't know. I just don't know. But hey, we talk about real estate trends. We talk about the market. We talk about, well, awkward interactions with me as a real estate agent. And then we try to figure things out. So that's who I am. That's what the channel's about. It doesn't look like I'm ever going to get to where some of these other people are, because I'm never going to do that video like, 10 reasons to sell your house. If you've got to read an article to know when you need to sell your house, you've got more problems than I can solve. Here we go. I don't know how far in today we're in because I don't have the timer up. So that'll be good. I do know I have sound, but I'm going to check though because of the famous non-sound episode, the mute episode. Okay, it says I have sound, so we'll go with that. I'd say put F in the chat, but I don't know how many people are here, and I don't know how many people are interacting in the chat. So that's no good. I might be talking to myself. I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway, let's go on to the first topic. And I want to present this in a certain way to you, maybe as a story. So let's just say you have a home buyer, okay? And their personality leads them to want to know everything. Like always be in charge, always be in demand, always be number one. This attitude comes oftentimes from people in engineering. I have not noticed it in tech. But anyway, the way that works is they want certainty on the entire deal. Okay, so what they want is, like, when you buy a house, they want to pay a certain price, okay? And then they want to know the day of closing, okay? And they want to know that the sellers are going to fix everything they want, and they want to know that if they want something, the seller's just going to go ahead and bend over and give it to them. That's what they want. But sellers don't think that way. Sellers think like, hey, this person wants to buy my house. My house is wonderful. I've lived in it for many, many years. And if you think that my house is not perfect, well, then you should go somewhere else. Oh, you want something extra outside of the contract? Go away. And so as in real estate agents, on the buying and selling side, you're stuck in the middle of these two people that are two groups that don't really agree and don't have the same philosophy going into things. And I've just noticed that it's very, very hard on people. And it's it's understandable. It's meant to be hard on people. Let me take you the contract itself is not a real estate contract is not a fun document. Let me take you through an example. This is something that I've seen on multiple deals. Let's say you agree to get something fixed, okay? But you're not in charge of it, a municipality is, as a seller. How do you honestly give the buyer a closing date? And you could say, well, we could put it in escrow. Do you really want the deal to go on longer than when you own the property? No, you want to get it done. But you could be your intentions could be absolutely pure and you would not have a good closing date. Let's go through another scenario. Let's say you're a buyer and there's let's say, well, the contract in St. Louis gives you, for the most part, 10 days to conduct any inspections you want. Inspections. Okay. Then you have 10 days to come to an agreement most of the time on what the seller and buyer are going to agree to. Now, look, here's the deal. The sellers don't have to agree to anything. They can just say, no, not going to fix anything. And then the buyer has the option of walking away with the return of their escrow money. Okay. That's just the way it is. It gets dicey when like you find something wrong and you want to have estimates for it because now all of a sudden you're out of contract. The inspection window has closed. And now you're sitting there trying to get estimates on a property that you don't own. And so what happens is the seller either has to grant you that, which is a concession, or you're just going to get more and more angry. But that's the way it's set up. If it wasn't set up this way, you would have buyers inspecting things the whole contract, the whole time, and changing the terms of the agreement over and over and over again. So I know exactly why it's there. And if I'm a seller's agent and somebody says, and the buyer agent says, hey, we want to have unfettered access to the property before closing, I say, you know what? No. I don't want to. And we don't have to. I'll see you at closing. So, this whole thing with concessions, this whole thing with, maybe you should treat each other respectably. Now, here's something that I would say is not a respectable way to go about things. Let's say I'm a seller's agent and we're in the hottest market that we've ever seen. Okay. And you agree to buy a house as is. Okay. And you get your inspections. We allow for that. But there's no negotiating on the repairs. And so then rather than you as the agent call, you have your office assistant or closing coordinator call and say, hey, we want a concession for the roof. Let me tell you how that's going to go. Not well. It's kind of like, hey, read the room. Hey, figure out, have a sense for what the other side is going to go for before you make the ask. That's how it's always been. But if you take people that aren't typically doing real estate deals every day, they get very, very upset at some of these things. And I understand. I totally get it. I totally get it. Like, for instance, if you're in any service-based industry, okay, let's say you want to call up, let's say, like, I'll give you an example right now. We're going to shift into something that's driving me nuts. I love my car. It's not the best car in the world. It's my car. It's a 2005 Subaru or 2015 Subaru Outback with the 6-cylinder boxer engine in it. I love it. I've taken it to Colorado. I'm sure I've taken it to Florida. I've taken it to South Carolina. I love it. I've been to Wyoming in it, I think. I don't know what the state is north of. No, I don't think I made it all the way, but I went through the Northern Pass in Colorado. I mean, I was way north for me. Okay. Been to Chicago in it. Love that car. So by extension, I want the car treated the best. I want to treat it well. It's like a pet. So when I take it to a shop and they put in like parts that are from China that aren't the OEM parts, and they're not, they're charging me more than what a normal part would cost. That doesn't make me happy. It also doesn't make me happy when I take the car in and it doesn't start, so I have it towed in. Then they fix it, and I drive it for about a week, and then the car goes back in the shop because it won't start. And then they tell me that they fixed it, and then I take it, and then I go out to start my car today, and it doesn't start. Like, and I'm this is we talked about character flaws last night. One of my character flaws is I'm loyal with everyone. I mean, like, if I do business with someone, it's like very, very, and the flaw is I expect that same loyalty back. It doesn't. I mean, that level of loyalty comes down. I would say it comes back to me maybe 10% of the time. So what do I do? I mean, it's uncertain. Do I take the car back to the same person that's tried to fix my car twice and failed? And you would say, well, you know, what difference does it make, John? I mean, it's not that bad. Your car, they'll find it and they'll fix it. It'll work out. But the problem is, I keep needing to go places and I don't have a car, and I'm a real estate agent. That makes things very, very crappy because you need to be able to see where you're going. Like, you need to be able to go there. You need to be able to have a car to do that. You can't just borrow the wife's car. Can't just borrow somebody else's car. You have to have a car. And then, even then, like, I guarantee you, when I take it to the shop, they'll be like, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We will fix this." Okay, and that's what I want. I mean, that's that's where that's where I run into trouble. I'm more than happy to take a car someplace, and if they missed on the diagnosis, then they don't charge me the second time or the third time. I'm okay with that. I'd be really mad if you charged me and then never fixed it right. But then, on the third try, you start to think maybe they don't know how to fix my car. Maybe it's not possible for them. Maybe there's no one in the whole shop that can fix the car. But anyway, it parallels real estate, especially in residential sales. For instance, let's say you want to get a bathroom done or bathroom remodel. Who are you going to use to do your bathroom remodel? You're going to go with the cheapest one? What happens when the results are not exactly where you want them to be or what you were envisioning? Same thing with this issue that I've run across. If it's outdoor work and it rains or snows, they can't work outdoors. How are they going to give you a concrete day when it's going to work, when it's going to be done? And I think when I was younger, I wouldn't believe that things wouldn't go well. I don't know why. Just didn't accept it. But as I'm older and I watch things, I often don't. I don't even have any faith it's going to turn out right in the first place. I mean, maybe that's a negative view, but boy, I mean, I see deals all the time that are messed up because the people involved, they say stupid things and they do stupid things. Whether you could have had a deal. So very, very frustrating. What do I recommend people do when going and looking to buy a house? I think I would say, just don't believe everything, that you hear about how it's going to be perfect and wonderful. There's times when it's very, very stressful. It's very, very stressful to put out an offer and then um, have to wait 2, 3, 5, 7 days before you get an answer. That sucks. But you're not in charge of the process. All you can do is um, put forth your offer and see what happens. And that's, you know, something that a lot of buyers can't handle. And that is, as the buyer, you're always in the negative. You're always, at the end of the day, you're not running the show. the buyer chooses to go with you, or the seller chooses your offer, they can choose to not take your offer. They are in the advantage. Even in a crappy market, you can write an offer and you can say, let's just say there's a house that's $300,000, and you walk through and you say, well, that's not a $300,000 house. It's a $350,000 house. Like, let's write up the offer. So you write up this offer. I'm sorry, $250,000 house. So you write up this offer, and it's like, we know that you've listed it for $300,000, but you're wrong, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller. Here's an offer for $250,000, and when can we move in? Seller can just flat out say, I don't like your offer, and I don't even have to respond. They can just literally not respond, and the offer will expire. It's the way it is. People don't like uncertainty. People like to believe that things are perfect. It's fascinating to me to watch when those types of people get stuck in a real estate deal and just flail around angrily. It's like, I want to help you. You need to know this. So, and then taking it a step further, is it possible that you could have a deal that is very, very difficult, that doesn't go well, and your friend have a deal that goes perfect? And the only difference is the agent doesn't tell you anything about the deal the entire way and just pretty much runs right through it and just doesn't say anything? Oh yeah, it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible. I value the communications between myself and my buyers and my sellers. I value that relationship because I feel like when things do get nasty, and they might, at least we have some common ground from which we can retreat to. But if I didn't like that, I could literally not talk to my buyers after the inspections. I could not talk to them until the walkthrough or closing. I mean, and just assume everything's going well. And then if it doesn't go well, just be like, oh, don't know anything about it. Sorry. And I think some people want that. I try to keep people informed the whole way. I tell people what I'm thinking. I can't do the work for the buyers in the sense, like, I'm not the one buying the house, but these are the things that I've seen other people deal with. This is how I've seen them deal with it. This might be a way for you to move forward and get some sleep. That's who I am. So, I don't know. Just wanted to share that. The idea of not knowing everything in a deal is not unusual for an agent, but it makes buyers absolutely miserable. Second thing I want to talk about, I was watching, am I failing at YouTube? I don't know that I'm failing at YouTube. I'm not doing well. Not doing as well as I'd like. And so I'll watch videos about YouTube and getting better because I want to get better. I want to have my subscribers, and I want to, talk about real estate. I'm fascinated by it. It's such a huge part of the GDP. And there's all these things about it that are quite fascinating. And so anyway, I was watching this guy, and what's funny to me is this one fellow is like, he used to be a minister of like a newfangled church. Like they build these new churches and everybody goes there, and it's like Christianity light. Not as an offense. If you go to those churches, that's great. Because if you try to go to a regular old church, those don't work either. They've sold out long ago. So, he didn't make it as a pastor. He was dead broke. So he started a YouTube channel, and I think he just started vlogging basically. Okay. And then he found like a niche, and his niche was helping YouTubers grow. Okay. So then he sold like products associated with helping YouTubers grow. And then now when somebody wants to write like in the search bar, like, hey, how do I grow my YouTube? It's this guy. Not going to say which one, because I don't want to kick anybody. Or it's his group. He's got a bunch of people working for him now. But it's all this, it's evangelism. The whole time it's like, hey, you know, you should do this. You can do this. We can move forward. And um, I, I'm, I'm not annoyed by it because I know what's going on. I see it, but I'm fascinated by it as well because again, like I'm at 114 subscribers. I know some real estate agents that are over 60,000 subscribers. What the hell am I doing wrong? I mean, it's like, so yesterday it was fascinating to me. He put out a video, 10 reasons why you should start a YouTube channel now, I think was the title. I've already started my YouTube channel, so why would I watch something like that? Well, I was just trying to figure out like maybe there's something I'm missing. So one of the points that he made, and the point that I'm trying to stay with is he says, think about your channel as like a digital vlog. Like, so when when you die, your kids can literally watch, they've got a vault and they can see who you were over time. Now, I think his children are younger than mine. My kids don't want to watch me. They don't care what happens to me. And I don't think they even want to get to know me. I think they're just good with like, you know, I exist to pay bills and help them through things, which is fine. They're at that age, right? So, but it resonated with me in this sense. Last night, I was I was I was beat. I was beat. The 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 real estate world had won. I just wanted to stop. I wanted to get off the train. Um, and I was in a situation where you do the right things and you still get the wrong results. It's like, ugh, frustrating. Woke up this morning and I was like, not better. I had real. I'll tell you, I had real hopes for today. I planned on a lot of stuff and it didn't go like I thought it would. Even now, I was hoping to stream at about 1. So I mean, yeah. But the idea of using the time for me as a bit of a journal or as a bit of a personal, you know, record, I think is good. And I'll tell you why. I know I've gotten better at the YouTube since I started. A lot better. I know I'm not, the best creator out there, but I also know I've gotten better. But, to go back to last year and see like just how different the marketplace was. And so if there's anything I could bring to you on that is like, look, like this whole YouTube trip and this whole real estate agent trip, and it's a journey. And there's highs and lows. And, you know, last night was not a high, but it's you cannot dwell on the negatives all the time. You can't dwell on like, oh, this person never called me for their listing. Oh, this person's mad at me for this. Oh, if I don't get this done, they're going to do this. Like all the fear, all the anxiety, all the sadness, all the trepidation, you just you can't dwell on it because every day is a new day. So my channel, to watch it, is literally me going through every day of real estate. Some days are good and some days aren't. Now, I reject something kind of fundamental in real estate, and that is when the market's hot, okay, we're usually talking about sellers are able to sell their homes for good prices. We don't normally talk about how the buyers in those situations are probably not in good shape. We never look at it from the buyer's perspective. And so I do look at it from the buyer's perspective because I want to help. If you want to buy a house, I want to be able to help you kind of frame the market. But a funny thing happened to me. I guess 3 days ago, I was talking to somebody. I had sold their house 3 years ago, and he was not like, "Hey, thank you for selling my house." I hadn't talked to him in a long time. He was like, "Man, if I would have done this, this, and this, I think we would have gotten more for the house." And I was like, "I remember that deal, and you should be thankful you got what you did because that house was terrible." But you know, it fits in with what do you remember about your real estate agent or the deal itself 4 or 5 years later? You don't remember everything. And so it's like the parts that you do remember, what are they and why? You should put that in the comment section or the chat. I'm sorry. What do you remember about your last real estate deal and why? Why do you think you remember that over something else? I'm intrigued. But so um today, am I up? Am I happy? Am I well, I mean, from the minute I woke up today, I had one issue after another pop up that was not positive. So, and now I'm kind of beat. I didn't enjoy it. So, anyway, by the way, when I do this, see how the camera focuses on it'll always focus on the thing that's in front. And I could change that, but I don't want to. So, just deal with some of the fog every once in a while. It's such a big I mean, the other one was small. This thing's a monster, but I never have to worry about getting another microphone, so kinda happy about that.